most good mentors that have done it are willing to do it at an amazing cost, and a lot of them will do it for free.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's the people that are out there charging all of these kids thousands of dollars to become a mastermind or part of a group. And it just rubs me wrong.
Welcome to the GrindCast. So today's guest is Jace Vernon, a serial entrepreneur, investor, and marketing expert who knows how to turn businesses into cash-flowing machines.
I like that.
From building profitable businesses to running RENTDUE Capital, Jace thrives on smart investments and scaling companies. Fun fact, he's the only 6'1" white guy to ever dunk on Shaq. We're going to get into that. Got to hear that story. Get ready for a high-energy conversation on business growth, marketing mastery, and financial freedom. Welcome to the GrindCast, Jace Vernon.
Okay, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Yes, we are so excited.
I know. I was one of the first person to make a comment on your GrindCast when you brought
Yes,
it. I
I love that.
Man.
Yes. So we're so excited for this one. So, okay, first off, to start, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now with RENTDUE Capital.
Okay. So RENTDUE, it's something I've always wanted to do. It's been in the back of my mind for years. So I was in Guadalajara this year playing for a basketball tournament. Well, I was supposed to name Puerto Vallarta. Ended up in Guadalajara, blew out my knee playing a pickup game before the tournament. So got surgery and I was kind of bothered. So I went home and I was like, well, what am I going to do this whole time where I don't have basketball? And at that moment, I'm like, it's time I launch a fund. So RENTDUE Capital is an options trading fund. It's been a dream. And what we do is we raise money. We then invest the money into options. And the goal is 1% per week to investors. And we've been doing it. So it's probably, if you looked at balance today, there's about $42 million in there. We raise well over $1 million a week.
Wow.
And some crazy stats is we spend about $280 per $100,000 raised.
Wow.
So we do it all through ads.
It helps to have all those skills, the marketing skills.
Yeah, it's like
all of that stuff that stacked up that led to this being going so well.
Yeah,
so.
It does. Like the biggest things I tell people is sales and marketing. If you can learn sales and marketing, get good at that, then when you launch new businesses, that's what you need. You need sales and marketing.
And that's something I found too. Like, I think with my business, that was like, I worked with you initially, and it was like just going along that in the retail space, I didn't know like how important sales and marketing are. And they are like so fundamental. If you are stuck at everything else and you're great at those, your business will be successful. But if you have a great product, then it's that much better. So.
Yeah. And the product, like, nice thing is Russell Brunson talks about this. So my goal with RENTDUE was to get to 100 investors. And we just hit that this week.
That's awesome.
100 investors. Well, now if your product does what you say it's going to do, now it kind of does its thing. The referrals. And so it's all about getting those 100 raving fans.
Yeah.
And after that, usually goes on its own, as long as your product's good.
Yes, that is awesome. Okay, I want to go back.
Because
there is, obviously there's a lot of steps that led up to what's going on now for you, right? We talked about the skill stacking that you've had. And so on your website, you had a section on there saying the start or whatever that you started back in 2004. So 2004, was that kind of the first business venture that you took on? This was a mortgage company or?
Yeah. So my very first business was window washing that put me through college.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I knocked doors.
Yeah.
So after classes, I'd go out into the Alpine area. I would knock doors, I would make sales. And then the next day I'd go out and wash windows. And I'd make $40 an hour easy. So that put me through college. And then after college, the first business was finance.
I love it. So how did you come up with the idea of doing the windows? So if you're still in college and you're like, okay, I need to make some money.
Yeah, I was roommates. I just ended up going down, staying with some people I didn't know. And they were out washing windows. And he just said, hey, come with us. And I went with him one day. And then from there, I'm like, I can do this. And so me and him did it. And then they all left. So I just kept doing it.
And you were making $40 an hour there?
Easy. Yeah.
Okay. And so then you're like, I'm not going to go work for somebody else.
Yeah, at that time, I was unemployable from there on out.
All these jobs, $8 an hour, right?
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. I'm not going to do that.
So was it strategic to do Alpine? Because obviously, like, that's a wealthy area. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get one house up there, it would be like $400, some of those big
Yeah.
areas. So
yeah,
there and go.
when we were at Funnel Hacking Live, one of the things they talked about was, find what wealthy people need and do that. And I mean, that's a great example. So
And it helps when
good
you're
strategy.
young college.
Mhm.
I probably was handsome back then. I don't know. But you knock the door, there's a woman there. She's looking at you thinking, oh, this poor college
Oh.
kid. Yeah, she's like, poor college kid. Okay, do my windows. So it helps.
What was your pitch?
My pitch?
Yeah.
Man, I would just
making you think.
that's right, Mac. But I would knock and say, hey, my name is Jace, and I'm out here giving people bids on their windows. And if you let me run around, give you a quote. That's it. I'd give them a quote. It was that fast.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing. That's awesome. And then what those things lead to, like, go out, try, and just don't be afraid to fail. And because you probably had some people that slammed the door on your face.
Yeah.
Right. But you learned skills there. You learned how to make some money. You probably learned how to sell. You probably got better and better. And then you just started skill stacking from there. I love that. So you went from that, and then that put you through college, and then you went and you started the other.
Yeah, I started a finance company doing mortgages. Back then it was hot. We made a killing.
What year was that?
2004.
Okay.
But I went 4 months. This is something I tell people. I went 4 months without a paycheck when I first started that first company. I was newly married. 4 months, nothing came in.
Yeah.
But I had a stash. Like I tell people all the time, have a stash of cash, because you don't ever want to be desperate where you have to take that job that you don't want to take. So I went 4 months, zero, but I just kept, every morning I'd make cold calls, ask people if they wanted to refinance, lower their rates. And I just built a pipeline. I think I had 24 people on my list that I just kept following up with. And then on that 4th month, they started closing. You know how it was back in those days.
They were big on then.
So I got $18,000 that month, and then just took off.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a good lesson, though, for when you're going through college and you're doing that other business. Like, stash some cash. Because it's going to lead to that next project. I think a lot of times and I know people in the mortgage industry back from that time frame, they're making really good money. They spend everything. And then whatever you start with, you're probably not going to end with.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to take that. You're going to learn what you can from it. You're going to take those skills and you're going to move on to whatever the next thing is. Right. And you've moved on to a lot of different things, and a lot of them have done really, really well. But I think it's important for people to understand that, like, stash that cash, because that's what's going to help take you to that next level.
Yes.
Because you can't get $40 million selling windows or selling window cleaning, right?
Yep.
But you can take those skills that lead to creating that fund. That's amazing. So you did really well. That business, it was during that time when the market was definitely starting to boom as far as the mortgage side.
Yep, mortgage, real estate, everything. And so I put all my money into everything. It didn't matter. If somebody told me it was a good investment, I was putting money there. And so I built up quick, about $6 million net worth. It's pretty young. And at that time, I didn't know recessions happen.
Oh.
I didn't know those things come.
You hadn't lost yet.
Yeah, I hadn't lost. I had land on the Vegas Strip. Crazy. We were building townhomes. I was in Forex. I was in diamonds. I was in real estate. It was just
Diversified.
Yeah, diversified, not knowing anything about any of them. So I knew how to do mortgages. All the other stuff I had not learned. I was just stupid.
I have a lot of people that I know that are kind of younger in their 20s, and they're investing, and you can tell when the investors haven't lost yet.
Yes.
Right. You're going to take a lot of risk. You're not going to vet the investments quite as much.
Yep.
And then after you lose, after you get stung a little bit, it changes your world and you look at things a little bit different. But I think that also helps you the next go around, get to the next level. And then you can, the next time when a recession or whatever comes, it doesn't impact you as much.
Yeah.
Right. So that's awesome. So then from there, you had that was doing well. You had money invested everywhere. Money grew on trees, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought too during that time. I was like, everything I'm doing is winning. I'm a genius. Yeah. And then 2008 comes.
Yeah.
And you learn very quickly that you're not a genius, right?
Yep.
So you have a story about that you shared. I noticed on your website. So you got to a $6 million net worth, and then that dropped off a cliff.
Yeah, everything. So mortgages dried up, all the real estate went under, and this was bad. I had other people involved too, which sucks. That's what's kept me from really raising the fund for so many years. Was I had a couple family members, I had friends that had trusted me, and everything collapsed.
Yeah.
So we had hard money deals go south. The banks in Vegas that were on our townhome project on the Strip, they called up and they called our loan due. They said, hey, we're done lending. We're calling it due. And I think at that time it was like 2.8. And they took $400,000 of our cash from the account. So all of that went, and we had 4X, like, we were dumb. And think about it, like, there was one day we lost $1 million in stupid currencies. Wow. Yeah. And everything went. So I went from 6 million, all of a sudden waking up, I was negative 3 million.
How fast did that?
It was 5 months. 5 months. So, and me and my wife just got in a house where I thought I got a deal because it was listed at 875. Now it was down to 600, and that's when we bought it. And it was now worth 300.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we
had that.
We let it go.
Yeah.
I just said, we have to reset. We let everything go. That was it.
So you wake up that morning and you're down 3 million.
Mm-hmm.
What's that like?
Like, there's a book. Let me think. You can't kick a dead dog. What is that book? There's a saying, how to win friends and influence people.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, there's a saying where it's like, nobody's going to kick a dead dog. So I kind of thought, no one's really going to come at me if I just humble myself, shut everything down, and just tell people, it all sucks. Like, I'm broke, nothing's good. And that's kind of what I did for a few years.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you question yourself at that moment? Like, hey, I did really well before. I might not do that again. Or were you like, it's just, I'm going to come right back? Or how did you feel that?
No, I'm like a crazy optimist. So people always ask, well, were you depressed? No, it was weird. It didn't bother me.
Wow.
I think it would drive me nuts now, I think. But back then, I was almost...
How old were you?
I was 27.
Okay.
Like, I felt alive. It's weird, but it was almost like a challenge for me of... I didn't care when I left. Like, when we were moving out of our house, I didn't care.
Really?
Yeah, when I told my wife, I'm like, hey, this house is gone. We're going to move back over into Coral Canyon house. It didn't even bother me. I was like, I'll figure a way out.
Yeah.
You
I
just
made
knew
money, and I was
just
young.
along the journey.
That's it. Yeah, it was more of, I've never been in that situation. So I took everything. Like, when the lawyers came after us and things like that, I just studied it. I was like, okay, how does the law work? How do lawyers work? How do banks work? So
you got something from it. You have a saying, success is not money.
Oh, yeah.
Or money is not success.
It's not success.
So what does that mean to you?
So I like money, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
So money's a big deal. But success to me is basically doing what you want when you want.
Okay.
That's it.
Freedom.
Right. Freedom of saying, if I wake up tomorrow, I hate what I do, I can change it and go do something else. So at that time when I was losing everything, I was free. I could.
Success is a mindset.
Yeah. I had to wake up and figure out what to do.
So that's like a bulletproof mindset, like to be in that situation and like, I'll be okay. I'm going to figure it out.
Well, on yours, you went through it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I didn't have a family or anything, I think, during that time, but it was still hard. And I remember I had to borrow money from my parents. And here it was like 6 months before, everybody, all my family's looking up to me like, oh my gosh, you're doing well. Like, you're doing all this stuff. Like, you know, I made more in a month than most of them in a year. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing well. And then, Mom, can I borrow some money?
Yeah. So the suckiest thing, my parents, one of our investments, which was doing really well, my parents put $200,000 in.
Oh, yeah.
They lost it.
Did you get it back for them?
Well, in other ways, yes, in many ways. So, and then they're okay. They're hard work because they've always had plenty. So that's good.
Yeah, that's got to be.
But I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it.
So how did you go? So from there, when you're in that moment, and you're down, $3 million. What did you do from that point forward?
So just kind of reset. That year, I spent a ton of time in Barnes and Noble at that time reading books. I was like, hey, I missed something. I lack education. So read 150 business books that year, turned around, and then ended up running into Ydraw, ready to start another company. And that's what I did. But I waited out all of the banks and the lawyers because, in 08, like everyone was losing. The bank that was coming after me, they collapsed. They went under. Everything went to the back.
Lehman Brothers?
It was, no, ours was Arkansas National.
Okay.
Very popular. So they went under, and then the lawyer called me up one day and he's like, I need this off my books. What will you settle it for? I told him $8,000. And that was it. He's like, done. I wired him $8,000. There it all went. So cleared out.
Right. We had that Lehman Brothers was one that came after us. I had a $1 million demand letter, and it was like, you got to pay this in 30 days. And we had just lost everything.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what am I going to do here? But it was kind of the same thing, though. Over time, the attorneys were like, we got to get this off our books. But Lehman Brothers, and I didn't know this at the time, but Lehman Brothers hired a group of attorneys and to be kind of they wanted it to be a profit center for them to just go after everybody and try to collect whatever they could. And I get it. And so they ended up settling for like $10,000.
Yeah.
So I was like, dodged a bullet there. But it was stressful for that 30 days.
But I always tell people like this, if you know the rules, if you know the laws, like most people would be crazy stressed. They wouldn't be able to sleep. They'd be nervous. They're like, the world's coming after me. And it's like, nah, the consumers are pretty protected. So if you can be patient and just wait things out, usually it turns out.
Yeah. Yeah, that was me. Stress, not sleeping. Like,
what?
I'm like, I was in my mid 20s or so. And I had only started doing well for a few years, and then I just lost everything. I got this $1 million demand letter from an attorney, and I had never had to deal with any lawsuits or anything at that point in time. So I'm like, I'm so scared, and I'm looking for people to try to give me advice on what to do. And everybody around me, like none of them have experienced it either, especially my family. And so I just, I'm gonna wait. And then once I got that, like, okay, we'll settle for 10. It was like, okay.
I'm currently in that boat. So
this is good for you. So you do.
I am waiting it out.
No.
It's like you start and you're just like, oh my gosh, like they just start, they're so on you all the time, and you're like, your heart's just pounding, like, oh my gosh.
I love that though. You're so right. It is an endurance game.
Yeah, just endurance, and like I said, and it goes away.
Yeah.
So then enters Ydraw.
Ydraw.
So, and you tell us a little bit about what Ydraw is first.
So Ydraw is whiteboard animation video. So explainer video.
Oh, I love those.
Will explain
those are
what they do. Yeah. So we hit it right time. Right time, right product. Like people need to understand it. Life is so much easier when you hit the right time with the right product. So Ydraw is, I saw a video one time, and it was an animation video, whiteboard, and I wanted one.
They're so cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And I started call all around to try to find one. I found one company in the UK, and they wanted 100,000. So I was like, that's not working. So I called my friend, and I said, we can do this. And he was doing cement at the time. His name's Curtis. He was doing cement up north, and he's like, I'll come down. And so we figured it out. We went here to Dixie on the projector to try to figure out how people were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We sat there and went to Best Buy, buying cameras, figuring it out. And we figured it out, got some Disney artists, launched our first video. That day we got phone calls.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, and profitable from day one. Our first sale was $7,000. We were probably $2,000 in equipment, and it's smooth sailing. So it
when you
$5,000.
How long ago from when you had the morning where you wake up, right, to launching Ydraw?
So, Ydraw was at the end of 2010. So 2.5 years.
2.5 years. And what did you do during that 2.5 years? Like, were you just, you out of money? Did you still have enough to kind of live? Or?
Well, yeah. When I say broke, I've never been broke. I feel bad for anyone who's really broke. Like I've never gone to a store and not been able to pay for something.
Okay.
So nobody feels sorry for me.
You still had some cash put away.
Yeah, like I had a life insurance, like things like that where I could have pulled. Okay, so I just let everything go. But during that time, I was just kind of hustling, doing side deals, doing trading. I did a lot of trading those 2 years, and kind of got introduced to the options and stuff like that. Did it really make me anything? No. Yeah, got me by.
But you, so during that, when all that happened, that's the stuff you just kind of let that go, which I think is a good thing, because sometimes people are like, I need to honor every single thing, and I understand that, but it puts you in a position where you can never climb back out of it.
Yeah,
and so you have to be able to climb back out of it to make things right.
Yeah, and it's hard too. Is they took on risk too.
Yeah,
everyone knew, and 2008 was just so ugly for everyone. It was a reset for everyone. So,
what was your biggest lesson that you learned from that time frame, that time period?
From 2008, what would have been my biggest lesson? Not to mess with people's money or kids. It's sad. But I mean, overall biggest lesson is, like, don't stress. Like, it's not worth it, all that stuff. It's not worth stressing when you're losing things, and it's okay. No one thinks about you that much. Like, at the end of the day, it's you. So no one's going to sleep thinking about you, anything like that. So it's up to you to get out of it.
I love that. So Ydraw comes, you launch, you've got the phone calling right away, and that business just
takes off. So yeah, we did probably that first year, probably got a check for $800,000.
And where did that idea come from?
I saw a video on YouTube. Yeah.
A video on YouTube, and you're like, hey, we could do this.
Yeah. That was it.
Okay. And there's nobody's in the markets doing this.
Nobody. And so almost immediately, though, we launched, and then there was 5 others.
Oh, of course, yes.
And so that started the whole explainer video industry.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, it was hot for 7 years, probably.
Now, are you still doing that?
Yeah, it's still good.
It's still launched for $2,000. So
yeah,
$2,000.
$2,000.
Wow.
Yeah, we did.
Doesn't take millions to launch.
And no one gets it. Yeah, we watched YouTube videos to learn how to do it. YouTube is so powerful.
Yes, absolutely.
I love that. So Ydraw takes off, and then a year later, that's when Red Marketing comes.
Yep.
Tell people a little bit about Red Marketing.
So Red is a digital marketing agency. We do Google ads, Facebook ads, website stuff. So since I did all that stuff for Ydraw, it opened up the door. I learned a new skill, had a new set, and I'd been helping people market for a long time.
Okay. So you're like, I know how to do this. I might as well, and I'm using it for my businesses, so I might as well sell that as a product as well.
Yep. So, and then that's another business that didn't cost anything to launch. Immediately we had customers, and it's just a cash flow machine.
That's awesome.
Has been for a long time.
That's awesome. And so, and that company still exists?
Yeah.
Okay. It still exists. And I read on your website there that you'll, when you acquire other businesses or build other businesses, just with that marketing background, or you're using that marketing company to kind of help scale those.
Yes.
As well.
Yep.
I love that. You're like, we already got everything in place. We know how to run the ads. We know how to do whatever. So if we start a new business, we just over here, let's put everything out there.
Yeah.
Let's get all the ads going. Let's get everything going, and let's just pump this up quickly.
For a good example is Earth. That's what we did with Earth.
Yeah.
Is we launched Earth, and we took everything, and that day we had 50, 60 people day one.
That's awesome.
And what the name of that is?
Earth
Spa.
Earth Wellness and Spa is what it is.
And Spa.
Okay. Yeah. So that's another. Yeah.
How long ago did that launch?
So Earth launched. It's been 1 year and 2 months.
Okay.
And it's doing amazing. So that idea came. I was in Tampa playing in a basketball tournament, and I went to a warehouse, and they had cold plunge and saunas, and there was 3 of us guys squished in a tiny little sauna, and I'm like, "Is this for real? Are people?" And people were coming and going.
Lots of ideas come from these basketball.
It is weird. It is weird. Oh, and so
I know. Go to basketball tournament.
I know. Go to tournament.
Ideas.
It is. I don't know if you know this. My best ideas and stuff usually come from sitting in the shower.
No.
Like they are not sitting at a desk at work. It is when I'm just sitting there in the shower, I'll get an idea and then implement it. Usually works.
I love that.
But yeah, so I came back and on Earth, I just said, hey, I want to do this. I own the office building. Curtis, who does Ydraw with me, he was kind of really getting into health. He was loving the health, the gut health, like everything health. And he kind of been going in that direction. So he's like, let's do it. So we demoed the half of it and put in a cold plunge sauna, red light, frequency mats. Now it does stem cell, emu. So that was another one.
What do you guys do with gut health?
So we do the scans and then you get a full thing that tells you, hey, you have mold. You're allergic to these things. Stay away from this. So
Might be stopping by.
Yeah. No, gut health's a big deal. It really is. So I've enjoyed that. I haven't put much focus on it, but we're opening up more stores already. So
yeah, awesome. On the gut health, that can change somebody's life. They have a big problem with it.
Yeah, and we've done some things with stem cell where people have been traveling to Mexico to get it. Well, we can get the same ones now.
Wow, really?
Utah. Yeah. Utah kind of went to bat with the FDA, and we can get stem cells here.
Oh, that's
and what is that used for?
So everything, injury. So if you screwed up your knee, so stem cells, as you age, they kind of disappear, which that's how you get healing. Stem cells heal fast. That's why as you get older, it takes forever. Well, so now you got stem cells, you just start putting them back in.
Wow. Okay, so speaking of basketball,
okay,
we have to hear.
Let's hear the story.
My 13-year-old wanted to know. Okay, so he's wanted to know, how did he get the opportunity to jump to dunk on Shaq? I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to ask him though. We need to know this. So please, I'm sure you shared a story. Yeah, it's a fun one. Let's hear it.
So once again, my basketball camps. Shaq had a basketball camp. Okay, and these basketball camps they started with Michael Jordan. They're fantasy. They're old people, and most of them have money. Well, this one was Shaquille O'Neal's, and Shaquille's the nicest guy.
I believe that.
So you could tell he was a jokester, just everything like that. So one of the camps, he was just a little bit under the basketball hoop with a guy talking, and I just took off and jumped up and dunked.
It's like, I'm taking this opportunity.
Dunked, and yeah, then he turns around, but he's like that. Like, he's just a show guy. So that's my claim to fame. I dunked on Shaq. His back was turned, head was down, but I did it.
You did it.
It counts. No, I'm like, this counts. So that was it.
That's awesome.
My 15-year-old did that on me because we have a little basketball, or we had a basketball hoop like in the kitchen, and I'm just walking to the kitchen not knowing, and he's running behind me and he jumps on me and dunks, and just so he can have that moment, and I'm like, yeah, Master's like, I dunked on you, and I'm like, try again.
So that was it.
That is that's awesome. So you mentioned also, so in addition to the Earth Wellness and Spa, you've launched a company that's around in the dental area.
Yeah, so I started, so we were going to do what's called all out wisdom teeth. Guy came to me, just got out of dental school, named Jason, and he's like, hey, I'm looking to do something. And he was giving me the numbers, and I'm like, this seems like a good business. And I was actually going to be an orthodontist.
Oh, really?
Thing I wanted to do. Just think, yeah, good thing I didn't. I can't. So, my mom actually knew that. She's like, you need to do something else. So listen to your moms. And
good advice.
Yeah. So he came to me and I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. And I'm like, I'll invest. And originally I was thinking $125,000. I was like, we should be able to do this for $125,000. Total. No, 1.2 million later.
Ooh.
So we kind of started going down the road of, this is working. We opened up 3 offices right away, and we were just losing money. So it was every month I was just cutting checks. And we made a shift to say, okay, this is not working. The only people that were making money was the anesthesiologists. And so we shut 2 offices down, came back, tried to regroup. And at the end of the day, we're like, this is not working. Yeah. And about that time, we were about $600,000 into it. So we had an office in Vegas. We bought a practice. We didn't even have to buy it. I negotiated where the guy just said, take it over. It's yours. And it was a surgery center.
Oh, wow.
And so in Vegas, to do surgeries, you need to have special stuff. But the dentist that we have, Jason, he's excellent at surgeries. He's one of the best. So we jumped into full mouth restoration. So we shut everything here, shut down south. Now we're doing full restoration in Vegas because it's a surgery place. So it worked out.
Okay.
But it's been a beast.
Yeah.
Been a beast. Have I got my money back? Not even close. Like, I will never. I've come to learn a lot about dental practices and stuff where they are not great. They are not a great business. So the dentist can make money doing it, but at the end of the day, are they good cash flowing, scalable businesses? No, not at all.
Yeah.
So
no, that's a good lesson there. I mean, even when you stack the skills, business is still challenging.
Oh yeah.
Right? I mean, if you stack the skills, your likelihood of success is far higher than just running it without knowing that stuff. But it's better, especially if somebody's starting out, figuring out those other businesses they can do where there's just not a lot of capital into it, and then figuring out a way to blow those up instead.
Yeah, but I will tell you, this business, the sucky thing is we fixed a lot of problems with money because I had money.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
if we would have been tight from the get-go and launched this like my other businesses from scratch, like bootstrapped it, it'd been way better. But because I just threw money at it, we created a lot of problems. And so
that makes sense. There was one of the guys on Shark Tank, I can't remember what his name is, but he mentioned that after he made some money, he decided to start a security company. And he had so much money that he just thought, I'm just going to throw $1 million in this. And he ended up losing it. And then realizing that there's an advantage to bootstrapping it. Yeah. And it probably been successful had he bootstrapped it instead, because I'm sure he was busy just doing other things. And here's more money.
Excellent.
And then it didn't work out. So that makes sense. I think that's a good lesson there.
Yeah. So if any of your viewers want to buy a dental practice, I'm out. I want out. I'm just like, oh. So eventually I'll get out of it.
That business isn't as fun as the others.
No, it's been interesting. So
yeah.
How important is it for the business to be fun for you?
If I don't like doing it, I don't. Like, I'm very picky with doing things that I want to do. Now, I'm okay with things being hard.
Okay.
Like, I do really well when it's stress. When I'm under pressure, I love it. But if I hate doing it, I'm out. So that doesn't work for me. I can't do things I don't want to do.
Yeah. It's hard to make something grow if you hate it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get people that wake up every day and do something they don't like.
Yeah.
That would be a hard way to live.
So one of the things you love to do is find properties. Like, I know you've done a lot of like multi-unit properties. Like, what do you look for when you're finding those?
So property wise, yes, I love real estate. Always have. You love real estate. Who doesn't? So, yeah, once again, my basketball stuff. So I've owned real estate.
I need to grow.
Yeah, people
start going,
or you just pay to be there. That's all you have to do. But yeah, I own quite a bit of real estate. I own myself about 300 units, just me, and then I'm partner on a bunch of other units. But I like to take my cash from my businesses and park it in real estate.
Yeah.
But real estate hasn't been great for 2 years. And it's been pretty rough. Just doesn't cash flow. But as far as properties, so my skill is just kind of numbers. What makes sense? I have a friend that he's a young guy that came to me and he's like, I'm pretty good at real estate. And he says, I find really good deals back in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I said, if you find a good deal, we'll do one. Well, he found it. I finance it, but I give him a piece of it. So he found a great property, fourplex, like 8 fourplexes.
Oh, wow.
So we bought them all and it was just killing it.
That's
and then COVID hit and he came and he's like, I got 4 other properties. And he just kind of kept feeding properties. And then
well, that's great. Yeah.
Did you have any trouble during COVID when they where people weren't paying rent?
No, because half of our stuff was Section 8.
Oh,
we've had worse time in the last probably year than ever in the property.
Interesting.
And I don't know if you know that people are having problems paying rent right now. Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Your goal is like 2,000, right?
Yeah. My goal, yes, I want thousands of units. So I have a lot ready to be built, but nothing pencils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there like one in particular thing that like you're like, this is a good deal?
So-
what numbers work?
Mine's very simple. If I'm going to put 100,000, I want a minimum 10 to 20,000 returned on cash flow.
Okay.
So you just don't find those right now. Everyone brags about the 5 cap, the 6 caps. No, I want the best 20% cash on cash. I'll take stuff at 10% cash on cash. And they're hard to find.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they are with those.
So you hold out for the good.
I hold. I do. It's not worth.
Yeah.
Because what screwed me up when I went broke the first time was I did not pay for cash flow. I bought stuff that did not cash flow.
Oh.
And so I just don't do it anymore. Like, it's not worth it. If it doesn't cash flow, you run the risk of a correction happening, and then you have capital calls. So there's companies right now, huge funds out of California and stuff that raised millions of dollars. They've been doing capital calls. They haven't got them. They've been losing properties left and right. And so all these equity investors thought, hey, we're safe. It's real estate.
Yeah.
There's no risk in real estate. So they gave these guys millions. And I think they had $3 billion under.
Wow.
And all these poor investors are waking up and their money's gone.
Oh,
That's terrible. I was just talking to a real estate investor about this recently because he was looking at it saying, hey, with this property, like it's only maybe 100 or 200 a month negative. Like I'm good. I'll be okay. And he hasn't lost yet. And I'm like, I remember back in 08, 09, right? Like I had several properties and the ones that were cash flowing, I could wait it out.
Yes.
Like I bought one at 1 month from what was considered the peak of the market, and I was going to flip it. And it was suddenly worth 50,000 less than what I bought it for. And I put money into it. So I was double negative as far as down, but I was able to sit and wait it out. And on that particular property, I think I made 180,000 or something on it.
At the end.
But it took a decade. And so I was explaining this to him, like, you haven't lost yet. And sometimes those things will happen. And you don't want to be where you're reaching into your pocket to put money into it every month when that happens. Because if that does happen and you've got multiple properties and if your income goes away or whatever, you're done.
Yeah.
Even if it at least breaks even or generates a couple hundred a month, you can hang for a little bit. And so it's such a great lesson, and it's better to learn from people who have lost already.
Yeah, but do you really learn? And that's what's hard. I can tell people all the time right now, right, buy cash flow. They don't. There's deals being done right now where a lot of people will get hurt. I see sellers are asking too much. Buyers are too desperate to buy something. And I think a lot of people are going to get hurt.
Yeah.
But it's great. I mean, it's great for those who wait.
In one of the real estate investment groups, there was a guy who was doing some private money loans, and just pulled a lot of money out of, I think, all the HELOC to fund it. Lost all of them, like 180,000. It's so terrible. But sometimes they'll hear about the return. And so somebody promised him like a 30% return cash on cash in 6 months. And he was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. If I put all this money in there, I'm going to be doing really well. But he wasn't experienced in it and ended up losing all of it. And it's just so tough to hear about those. And so that's why, that's part of the reason why we have this podcast is watch it, learn from people, because everybody who is, for the most part, that's successful, they've lost. And you've learned so much from that. And do your best to learn from what they've been through rather than, hopefully you don't have to experience it yourself. Yeah. But it is more memorable when you experience it yourself.
Yeah, you learn. But something on these people that lend, like, couple things I learned when I lost. I don't go second lien positions on real estate. I just don't when I do hard money. Mm-hmm. Normally what I do is I'll buy the property. So instead of going in and saying, hey, I'm going to give you a hard money loan, I just say, I'm going to buy the property from you at this price. You buy it back from me. That way there's no foreclosure. I've done that. So I end up with a heck of a piece in Cedar City doing that. The guy didn't pay me off fast enough, and now I own a piece of property at basically 50% of value.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the second lien position, no one understands that you disappear if stuff happens.
Right. So I do a lot of second positions.
Then you know.
Well, he's very careful.
But
he's very conservative. I know he's conservative.
I understand that. So just because I've been in the lending world for for so long.
And he always has collateral.
Well, and the nice thing is, though, if you understand it, worst case, you pay off the first. Figure out a way to pay off the first.
Yeah, I try to make sure to have a a relationship with the first, so that if something goes bad, I can take it over. But I actually like your strategy of like, I'm just going to go through and buy it.
Yeah.
And then you can take it back after it's done. That would be even better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rebuild my strategy and figure out something with that. So, okay. So I like the stories though here. They're awesome. And especially the ones about basketball camps. Cause I'm going to start.
Man. Yeah. I guess there's a lot of deals have come from basketball camps.
And sitting in the shower.
Yes. Showers and basketball camps.
Okay, so we went through, let's see, Earthspot, Ydraw, all of that, and then we talked a little bit about the RENTDUE. Where did the name come from? I love the name. I don't think I understand.
That's actually a good question. Where did I see RENTDUE? I saw somebody said it one time, and I was like, I'm going to do that's going to be the name of an LLC I'll do one day. I remember I put it down, and then I was looking at some property, and I was like, I'm going to do a RENTDUE on this property. Well, it didn't ever work. So turned out to be an options fund, which RENTDUE is real estate, but this is options, but it's worked out. I like it when people say, I'm like, when I go around with this hat, I've had people be like,
yeah,
RENTDUE, I like it.
Yeah.
And then when they ask that, I'm like, I'll send you a hat. Give me your address. So, but yeah, that's it. It was just that simple.
I heard that phrase a while ago, and it had something to do with success. That I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like the rent is due every month. You've got to put that in every day, every month to do it. It's not like it's a one-time thing.
And then originally, I think I saw on those iconic images, they would go down on social media, and I think it was a Monopoly, said RENTDUE, and he was pointing forward.
Oh,
That's
fun.
we like triggered it.
Yeah, awesome. So, okay, back to RENTDUE Capital. I think you've got such cool stories because it kind of points out all of those skills that you learned along the way that led to what you're doing now. Like you couldn't do what you were doing now without that. Right? I mean, it's just, I think a lot of times people try to skip the steps. I think you can skip the time learning if you go and learn from people who have done it. I think you can fast track that. But Zig Ziglar, I think, said it best. For success, there is no elevator. You have to take the stairs.
Yes. Yeah.
And you've got to get your reps in with each one of those. So people need to go out and they need to start a business. And they need to be willing to fail. And if they fail, it's okay. But just don't quit. Keep going. Start the next one.
Yeah.
What's that? We've had people who have started multiple businesses, and it like took 4 or 5 or 6, and then finally one took off. But it was just a grind the whole time with the others of straight losing money, or kind of like your dental.
Yeah, my dental, but once again, it goes back.
It's a learning experience.
I'd have a hard time. Like there's some business owners out there that had it way harder than I ever have. Way harder. Like I could not imagine launching 5 businesses or 3 businesses in a row and losing. You'd be like, I'm no good.
Never doing businesses.
Yeah, I'll go work it
with somebody.
Maverick.
Yeah.
Set the bar high.
Yeah. That'd be hard.
So I have to ask, like, you have all these businesses, you have 6 kids.
Yes.
Like, how do you balance your wife and the kids and the businesses? Like, what is that? Obviously, there's no balance, but like, what does that look like for you?
I don't know. There is no balance. Do I think I do good? I don't know. I'm not in trouble that much, but
It's fine.
yeah, like my wife's great with the kids. That's her thing. That's what she likes to do. And nothing about businesses or finance or anything. Her thing is kids. So that helps. My kids are taken care of. They're everywhere. Like she's in Tucson right now. Next week, I was in Vegas last week. She was in Salt Lake. So we travel everywhere, but it helps. Money helps.
Mm-hmm.
That just because we're not stressed about that stuff. So
Right.
Jumping on planes and things doesn't really matter. And then another thing is my kids are very independent.
Oh, that's good.
Like from the get-go, they just know that they need to get up, get themselves ready, get food. So as far as the balancing of the kids, we'll see how they turn out.
Did you beat them a lot when you?
Did I beat them?
You're like, do yours.
No, I'm like the calmest. Like I think maybe 2 or 3 of my one son, he punched me once. And I didn't know what to do. Like, he swung and just punched me in the face, and I sat there. I looked at all the family. We were doing like a family meeting when he punched me.
Why did he punch you? Do you remember?
I was teasing him.
Oh.
It was my own fault. He was young. And I just looked, and I looked at the family. I'm like, how do I handle this? Do I scare the crap out of all of them so that no one will ever do this again? Like, it was weird. But that's the only time he did get a spanking. But that's probably the only time I've ever lost my temper.
How old was he?
He was probably 6,
Okay.
7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's just in the feisty age where he's like, doesn't really understand boundaries. He was like, I'm just going to go for this. He made me mad.
Yeah, but my balance, I travel a lot too. Like, health, I work out. I don't think about how to balance everything. I kind of do what I want.
Yeah. So like, how does that work with your wife? Like, how do you guys find time to connect? And like, what do you do special for her that keeps her around?
I try to get flowers. And it's hard. Like, you know how marriage
So
is.
Italy with kids, she just doesn't have time to do it.
Yeah. Well, the reality is the last little bit with how much we are traveling. Like, she's staying in hotels 30 days the next 3 months.
Wow.
Just traveling. And at the end of the day, yeah, does a marriage suffer? Yeah. Right. There's times we have to sit down and talk and be like, okay, we're here.
Yeah.
And then you correct.
Yeah.
And then you're off. So we like to travel, me and her. We'll take trips often. But we're just in that time where there is no.
It's a grind.
Yeah. She's probably like, I hate this guy.
Oh, you know.
So it is what it is.
I'm sure she appreciates your work ethic.
She does, but there's sometimes, yeah, I would not be easy to be married to, just because I kind of do my thing and everyone figures it out.
That's great.
You talked a lot about kind of health and that being important for
Right.
you. Do you have like a morning routine that you?
Yeah, I work out. I play ball a lot. I work out.
Okay.
Almost daily. Yeah, health. I'm always health. Then you got like wealth, like work, all of that stuff. You got family all in there. But when you're sick, you don't feel good. Nothing else seems to go. So health's a big deal.
Yeah.
When you have all these businesses running around, you got to have a ton of energy to keep up.
Yeah.
If you're tired and healthy and sick and all that, and you got those pressures, like it's a different world.
Yeah. Like being sick would be hard. So
yeah. Have you had any mentors that have helped you through some of this?
no.
Really?
Wow.
I'm not a mentor guy.
Okay.
Like I'm really
I'm
not.
going to do it myself. Figure it out.
No, I tell people anymore with the internet, you learn everything.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Like I love podcasts. I listen to books. My Audible's chock full. I'm always buying new books.
Yeah.
My car is a library. So anymore, I tell people, everyone is your mentor.
Yeah.
If you're not learning every day, you're missing it.
Yeah.
What would I have given to be in high school and have what they have?
Right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite book?
I'm classic. So How to Win Friends and Influence People.
I love that.
Man in Babylon. Think and Grow Rich. Like my
Those are good.
Think and Grow Rich is one of my favorites.
So I convinced my wife. She was kind of doing scripture study every morning with the kids. And I'm like, okay,
Just
we're going to put
personal
some
development.
scriptures over here, but we're doing personal
Yeah.
development. And so right now we're in the middle of Think and Grow Rich.
My kids hate me for that.
So yeah, they do, but they're great books.
They are.
And so those are my mentors. But then everything I've done, I've learned from watching somebody else on like a YouTube. So
There's so much of it.
So much.
I just don't really listen to the music as much anymore. It's audiobooks,
Yeah.
YouTube, podcasts, and like, I don't know, how many hours a week do you think we're doing that?
Oh, yeah. A lot.
yeah,
I mean, it's probably 10 to 20 hours a week at least, like just listening. And it's just, and that's, part of the reason for this, I love learning. I'm like a learning addict.
Yeah.
And I want to learn from people. And then like in this, I get to come and I'm learning from you and I get to direct the questions. And then I'm like, all right, how did you do this? Where did you go over this? All right, check. Got to get taller. Go to basketball camp.
yeah, basketball camps. But yeah, I worry about I think there's kind of a epidemic going on right now with these mentors that charge these kids, take money from these kids, like coaches. And I don't know, I get bothered in that space.
Do you? Okay.
Oh yeah. I am not a fan of that space.
I think sometimes it's really valuable though. Like it can accelerate. Like if you find a really good one that's like done what you're trying to do and they know all the things that will help you get to the next phase, then it's worth it. Right.
Okay. But what are they? So people like that, just like RENTDUE. So example, RENTDUE is the options. Like we're making huge amounts of money.
Right.
So you take a guy, my trader, and turn around and say, he's now going to be a mentor or he's going to coach somebody. The fact is, if you can do it, you're not coaching. You are not teaching people. So some of these business coaches, they've maybe done it once, but if they really can do it, they would make 10 times more the money actually doing it. And so I look at mentors and I'm like, there's people, most good mentors that have done it are willing to do it at an amazing cost. And a lot of them will do it for free.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's the people that are out there charging all of these kids thousands of dollars to become a mastermind or part of a group. And it's just...
Yeah. I think there can be value there for sure. I think you just have to be careful with it because it is a flooded market. And I think there's a lot of people who don't necessarily know what they're talking about. But
give me a good mentor. Do you guys know a good mentor?
I mean, I know one.
Give me one.
Ben Moore.
Okay, but he's different. Take Ben Moore.
He's never charged me though.
Yeah. Ben Moore is a good example of somebody who has done awesome things, has amazing resources.
Right.
He's not out there pitching courses. He's not out there telling people. He's the typical mentor that's willing to help people.
Yeah, no, he's incredible. And what's crazy is like I'll text him, you know, when I have something going on or whatever, and he'll get back to me in like 5-10 minutes, and I'm like, Ben, you've got a million things going on. Like, how do you have time to respond? But he's so good at it. And
yeah. So there's those guys like that. That's who you want to. Right. You want to find.
Yeah. No. So I get that, but I think sometimes it is valuable to have a coach that's like there. Because I've personally experienced it where like I've met just the right person that knows how to get me to the next step. And so if you're having a coach that's like specifically done what they, done the thing you want to do and then can help you get to the next phase faster, it works. Yeah.
Hey, there was a good conference I was at this last week that this guy says, if I can pay money to get there faster, he pays the money.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I actually like mentors. I agree. There's a lot of terrible ones out there.
You like the mentor, and
I've had people trying to coach me on real estate stuff and they have no money. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't take advice from people that don't have any money. That's the thing, not to real, right? Like, but you can't teach me anything on that. But on the other hand, it's definitely shortcutted some things, knowledge for me. And it's like, even I wanted to play guitar once, right? And I could probably look it up on YouTube and I could probably figure some things out. But there's a lot of those missing pieces that I can't get. But when I had a guy that was touring 200 days a year with a band all over the world, and I had him sitting across from me. His name was Jerry. Yeah, some super cool guy. And he's just sitting there showing me. Then when I make a mistake, he sees it. When I can't catch that on the YouTube video. He sees it right there, fixes it, and it was a big difference. That was one of my first.
What did it cost you?
What was he? I don't remember what he cost. I don't remember what he was. It wasn't cheap, but I don't remember what it cost. I was probably huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, there's certain things where you get total value out of it. You just have to be careful.
Yeah. Well,
for sure.
And I think, honestly, Jace, like, let's be real. Like, you're very unique. So I think that, there's we're not all like you where we can just do the thing, figure it out, and part of it is like a lot of us need accountability, right? And so when you have a coach and, you feel bad if you didn't do the thing, then it helps you, push through it. I mean, you're just self-motivated and you're like, I'm doing this, I'm making money, I'm going to learn off YouTube. Screw you guys. Peace.
You're actually right. Because my brother sometimes says that. He's like, not everyone's like you.
Yeah.
Like, they are not like that. I'm like, what?
Why not?
It's like, just do this. And he's like, no. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I think for everybody, we're all a little unique, so it works. But just, I think the lesson here is like, just make sure that it's the right person with the right, like, vet them, right?
Vet them very well, and
don't waste your money on it.
Yes. Don't pull out a credit card that puts you in debt to pay a mentor. Like, that's just tough for me. And it's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the guys.
The other thing is, I think if people get things for free, sometimes they don't follow it.
That's another thing. It's
Like, I think
100%.
you've got incredible knowledge, right? And if you were like, hey, I'm gonna charge whatever to go and you're gonna learn from me, like, I'd probably be like, okay, hold on, I wanna learn from you. But I found that if somebody has if they're not vested in it, it's something right? They just don't do it. And maybe you get to a stage where you're like, I've acquired all these skills. I want to change lives now. I want to help people, right? I mean, you are through all of your businesses, right?
Yeah, but I agree.
So there's another direction where you can go and potentially change millions of people's lives with your knowledge. And I think for that, in order to get the impact that you need, they've got to pay for it, because they just won't do it for free. If they come to a seminar and it's, there's 5,000 people there and it's free, they don't do the same than if they pay $1,000 to go to that seminar. It's a different quality of person, and when they pay, they're like, okay, I'm invested. I'm going to make this happen. So that's just been my experience.
Yeah. Which you're right.
With the mentors, but
you're right.
Not all created equally. There's a lot of terrible ones out there that have never actually done anything. I see this a lot on YouTube on the financial side.
Yes,
I did a video with another YouTuber. I thought it was going to be like a debate thing. He was going to try to debate me, but he ended up being really respectful, and he has, like, I don't know, 100,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube, and he's teaching people about how to manage money and financial stuff, right? So I get on this debate, on this thing with him, and then I realize, like, he doesn't have any money. Like, he doesn't really know how to invest. He doesn't know how to do all this stuff, and he's teaching all these people, and he's charging people $300 an hour to give them financial advice. So that was kind of like, okay, there are a lot out there that haven't actually done the thing.
Yep. Real estate's a big one. Real estate gurus, they're all over.
Oh, yeah.
Real estate, yeah.
No doubt about that.
That's true. I've been doing a lot of these investor loans, and on the mortgage side, they keep adding red tape every year. It's not as fun as it used to be. Yeah, right. I know those questions about, you have to like it, right? But anyways, so a friend of mine was saying, well, why don't you just teach people how to do this, And I thought, oh, actually, I could do that. I could probably teach people how to do it and shortcut whatever it costs them, right? And then they could learn and they could just do it themselves. So he sent me over another guy that's kind of doing the same thing. And so I'm scrolling through. He's got some really good marketing. And then he has a story on his Instagram that he was broke last year. Yep. And then he got started doing the loans, and then he had some success there. So now he teaches a course. And I'm like, I'm like, this business, I mean, you've been in it. It takes 5 years before you can convince somebody you can sell somebody on taking a rate. But before in order to really know how to solve problems that come up, especially in today where there's so much red tape and underwriters are scared and there's all of this stuff, like, you've got to have a lot of experience there to draw from to solve from problems. And you just don't get that in 1 year of doing 20 transactions.
Yeah.
And so it was fascinating to me. And I'm looking at that stuff because I like to question the mentor.
Yeah.
I think it's important. Like, who are you?
It always, yeah.
Right. Like, I want to learn from people who have done it, because there's going to be those little, there's going to be some gaps that they're going to be able to fill in that I might really struggle filling or figuring out on my own. Yeah. But if they're new to it, like, they don't know him yet, right? And he's selling the course. I think I heard it was like $7,000 or something that he's selling the course for. I mean, I guess kudos to him for building that, but people do need to question who's selling it and what their experience is. I agree.
Totally agree.
Yes, love it. Are the kids entrepreneurs too?
I'm trying.
Okay.
I'll tell you, my kids, 2 little ones go out and knock doors.
That's awesome.
Love it. My oldest, great worker. My son, he'll figure it out. He's 17. But I got 2 other daughters that, I've thought about doing, my family were amazing at crepes.
Oh, okay.
So I've thought about opening up a whole crepe store for them, but at the end of the day, don't do it. Yeah. Well, you're saying don't do it. But at the end of the day, I'm afraid I'm going to show up there. I'll be there Saturday morning. You guys, I'll be like,
yeah.
Hey, Christian. Hey, Danielle. No, you'll be like, what are you doing? Well, my kids quit. So I told him, I'm like, I will fund you, but I can't do this business.
Yeah.
But I want him to be. But who knows?
Have him come talk to me.
Okay, that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Scare him. But
I would say it's not even scaring them. It's just there's a right way and a not so right way. And it is a hard business, period.
Yeah,
Food is hard. So hard. So, I mean, they can definitely make it work, and especially with your experience. I mean, the biggest thing is sales and marketing.
Yeah.
Even if you have a storefront in the best space, you still have to market. And that was a lesson. Like, it was just story of hard knocks, man. Oof.
But me and my kids, I don't care what they do. I don't send them down a road. I'm available. I mean, if I keep going, yes, they'll be set. Probably. I don't know what I'm going to do with that.
Not many.
Well, I tell them no, but they'll get some apartments or something.
As long as they don't believe they're set for life.
Yeah, that's how I always tell
A lot
them.
of work for it.
I threaten them all the time. I'm like, you're out of the will. So, but no, they're good. But I don't push them any direction. I don't care what they do. I just want to be happy. That's it.
Awesome. So rent and do. What's next for rent and do?
100 million is, we'll hit that.
That's where you're going.
So as long as we keep going, just doing what we're doing, we're consistent. I mean, it really is crazy what we're doing. Like, there's two of us producing millions. If this thing hits 100 million, which it's on track to hit, like you're talking a lot of money from two guys, and it's an amazing business. It really is.
What are the safeguards?
So we risk 1% per trade. It is still risky. Options are risky. But the biggest thing we have going is you can look at our track record of every single day since August of 2023. So you can check it out, and it'll show you every single gain we've made. And so transparency creates trust. Always. RENTDUECapital.com. Okay. So transparency is trust, where I just try to show everything that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I show people numbers. I don't hide anything. I show people our losses, like everything. It's out there. And that's what I'm trying to do, is create a fund exactly like I'd want. I'd want it to be liquid, where you have access to your capital. I want a high return, and then I want transparency.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on. So I've created that fund, and we're raising about $1 million a week. I don't know. I enjoy it. The moment we stop enjoying it, we'll probably shut it down.
Yeah.
But
I got to tell you. So, full disclosure, everybody, I'm not an investor.
he's not an investor. I don't know why he was. You were actually probably one of the first conversations. So you could be probably 40, 50,000 ahead right now. All right.
So, well, I told you my story about when I first gave my money to the guy.
Yeah.
Very careful.
So we heard 10 years ago, it was like 25 grand, and that was it. And then I waited to see if I lost it. But anyways, so I'll do some vetting. But dude, I've asked so many people about you.
Yeah.
And every single person I've talked to had nothing but good things to say about you.
I hope.
And so that was reassuring to me. I mean, that was great. And all walks of life, down to people that did some work for you. And they even had good things to say.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is good. I was like, if I give Jace a check, is he just going to walk away with it?
That it's crazy. The number one question we get is, well, I get a lot is this a Ponzi scheme? Mm-hmm. So, and what stops you from running off with it? Right. And at the end of the day, whenever you invest in any type of fund, you're putting your money on the fund manager. You really are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's, if you trust the guy, and if you don't, I would not invest.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, the best thing you can do in sales when you're wanting people to invest is you don't want their money. I don't care.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to invest with me, great, you're with us.
It's like dating.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. When I pull back, I'm like, you know what? Just watch. And one day, if you're ready, come in. Next thing you know, they're like, I'm filling out these papers.
He doesn't want my money.
Yeah,
he doesn't give it to him.
He doesn't care. So, and I really don't. That's been the best thing going for me. There's just no desperation.
I think you've found it, because you've got a lot of money in the fund as well. So
yeah, I'm the biggest investor by far.
You found a way to make money, and you're doing well with it. And you're like, well, I might as well share this with the world.
That's how it started.
If they want to take me up on it, cool. If they don't, cool. Like, I'm good. I don't need it. But it's just a way to help.
Yeah.
So what's the minimum?
So minimum is 100,000.
Okay.
And my goal, I was talking about it yesterday, is I want to create 100 millionaires, 100 people that I produced $1 million for. And so we'll do that. If we just keep doing what we're doing, we'll do it pretty quickly.
That's
I love
awesome.
that. See, so there is some impact in there that you're wanting to.
Yeah, there's some steps.
He's
It's
a
a good,
guy.
you know, the okay guy. But yeah, that would be cool on your resume to be like, I've created $1 million for 100 people.
That would be fulfilling.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And to change that many lives, like that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get rich in the process.
Yes.
There you go. It's always got to be something there.
That's the hard. If you do that, if you get 100 million, yeah,
Win-win.
shoot, win-win.
That's why Zig Ziglar says you can have anything that you want as long as you can help enough other people get what they want. So
And that's it.
it makes sense. How can people follow you?
So
Where can they find
ask
you?
Jace. They can go on Instagram, ask Jace. Facebook, Jace Vernon.
Okay.
They can go to RENTDUE Capital and
RENTDUE
find me
Capital.
there.
And YouTube.
YouTube, probably ask Jace. I have a lot of YouTube channels I built over the years. I just
JaceVernon.com, right?
Yeah, and I'm gung ho on social media for 2 days, and then all of a sudden I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm like out for 2 weeks, and then I'll
That's
want to come back.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. Just like I thought, Jace was dropping some bombs on that one. So, Jace, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it, man. That was a blast.
Thank you.